World Airways charter flight 2703 is now departing for London, England from Gate 5.
You know, it really is your world. And take it from a veteran roadman like me, it's a big one. Every year I've managed to log a considerable distance on overseas flights to entertain the troops, and a good many of those miles have been on charter airlines. Maybe you haven't had a chance to look into charter travel. If not, I'd like to take you along on one of World Airways' big birds. Though the low cost of flying on the world's largest charter airline may keep a guy like Jack Benny in the ticket line, it's the first-class performance they offer that turns me on. Just as I suspected, here's where I get upstaged by some of that class. Talk to me, sweetheart. Calm the soul of a tired traveler.
Tired traveler on World? No way, Mr. Hope. When a club or organization decides to travel as a group, it can set its own relaxing timetable and standard of luxury. The rapidly expanding group travel by air idea is limited only to the charter organizer's imagination. And we at World can help with the planning.
All right, honey, you've got me hooked. Tell me more.
Well, the time and place of departure are tailored to your convenience, as is the exciting destination. For our big jets can fly to almost anywhere in the world, and generally non-stop. But the dramatic thing about charter flight is that with all this luxury, as well as traveling with friends of common interest, the passenger still pays less than the economy fares on major scheduled airlines.
Thrift, she's telling us. Like I said, that's Benny's bag. You know, the attractive young lady has some sound advice there. For jet travel is changing our lives. Those faraway, exotic places don't have such unfamiliar names anymore. Travelers by the thousands are visiting Europe, Asia, South America, and Australia every year. And a high percentage of them, you'll be interested to know, charter their trips on World Airways. World has mushroomed into one of America's 3 largest worldwide airlines. It is, in fact, the world's biggest charter airline, and its fleet is 100% jet. In a single week, a World 747, 707, DC-8, or 727 jet can perform over a dozen passenger charters, transporting more than 3,500 people as much as 140,000 miles. Behind each charter flight is a world of experience, organization, skill, training, and retraining. Let's visit one of World's training cockpits. Captain Gene Holloman is 48, has 2 children, and lives near Pleasanton, California. He's been with World Airways 8 years. Co-pilot Bailey Pendergrass also is a family man who's been with World 5 years after several years of experience with a scheduled airline.
World 2703, Denver Center. Cleared to flight level 370. Report reaching.
World 2703, out of 330 for 370. Will report reaching.
Don Block, with air crew experience covering over 5.5 million miles, is flight engineer on this trip. In the course of 1 week's operations for just a single jet, as many as 10 or more different crews like this one may be required.
One of the things that impresses me most about flying for World is the requirement that our prospective new pilots have a minimum of 2,000 hours experience flying heavy multi-engine aircraft.
Here we see the Boeing 707 Essential Select switch, and we'll illustrate how this ties in on the schematic.
I'm certainly thankful that I was qualified 8 years ago, for many prospective applicants never made it through World's rigorous training program, a program that goes far back in the company's history. Our pilots face 172 hours of classroom studies and several days in a $1.5 million flight simulator. They must also pass dozens of checkpoints that in several areas exceed federal regulations. All this before they are assigned their first flight as a world co-pilot. And believe me, it's a comfortable feeling when the man beside you knows his business.
Thanks, Gene. Well, that's a point of view from the pilot seat. While we're in the flight deck simulator, it might be interesting to hear about what kind of backup support it takes to keep World's big birds in the air. How about it, Don?
It's a little hard for an engineer to sit and brag about his own airline's reliability record. That's maybe something for the advertising and public relations people on the ground. But a good indication that our maintenance staff back at the World Air Center in California must be outstanding is because almost 24 other airlines use the facility. This modern maintenance operation, developed solely for the total support of commercial jet aircraft, has proven its competence in the areas of overhaul, maintenance, interior refurbishing, and airframe repair. These people have helped win a stream of awards from the U.S. government and other agencies for World's maintenance and safety records.
I've been told that a charter airline that travels regularly to exotic destinations all over the world has some exacting requirements to make of its hostesses. I'll let Dee Dee Larson tell you about them.
First, I believe there is a considerable difference to being a stewardess for World as opposed to other airlines. The main thing is that the charter concept encourages groups to travel like one big family. Our people smile because they're having as good a time as the passenger. Their friendliness is genuine, and they're having fun, too. A member of the private party, you might say.
Now, before removing the meal tray into the aisle, check over your shoulder. Some things you can afford to let protrude, but others you can't, like your elbows. That'll be all for today. Tomorrow we'll start rainy weather procedures. Thank you.
Oh, Evie, do you mind if I borrow your sewing machine for a couple of days?
Selection and training of World stewardesses and stewards is a prolonged, deliberate, and exacting process. 1 out of 9 applicants is accepted for training. On staff are flight attendants who speak some 20 different languages.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Hi, welcome aboard. Bonjour, monsieur, madame. Ciao.
Hey, speaking of chow, wait till you see the line of Epicurean victuals they serve up on a world charter flight. First, the cocktails. Say, how about that sensational steak dinner? Come now, wait a minute. Just look at that. Here I am playing the tour host when I could be dining in style.
Did you enjoy your meal, Mrs. Worley?
Oh, very much so. Do you suppose I might have just a smidgen more of Drambuie?
Hey, whatever became of coffee, tea, or milk? Well, we now know this airline takes special care of its in-flight guests. But are you curious over just who does all this chartering of jet aircraft? There's the Lions Club of Saugus, Massachusetts, the National Education Association, Erie Monroe County Medical Society, the Bing Crosby Fan Club of... Come now, wait a minute. Seriously, it's quite a list. Everything from college alumni groups to incentive award travel programs sponsored by major corporations like Ford, General Motors, and Mutual of Omaha. And there are other ways to fly World. There are inclusive tour charters called ITCs, where an individual can buy a complete tour. Air transportation, hotels, sightseeing, transfers. Travel agents sell these increasingly popular tours at remarkably low prices because the package includes a trip on a charter jet. And there are also the travel group charters that make it easy for any group to travel. Where can your group go on a charter flight? Well, if you haven't given the idea much thought, I'm not caught short of exciting suggestions. Among the lures and rewards of travel to foreign lands are views of lifestyles different from our own. In the Orient, for example, the accent in Japan is on quiet beauty, seldom overwhelming. In Europe, culture of another kind lies within your reach. Like wonderful Copenhagen, a picture storybook from Hans Christian Andersen. Or Rome, the eternal place where all roads lead. Exciting Amsterdam with its lacework canals, colorful barrel organs. And there's the breathtaking city of beauty, Paris. It's all there available for you, just as it is for the participants of this World 747 flight. And it won't be long now before their fun begins in fascinating London.
We are now preparing for our descent into London. The temperature on the ground is 61 degrees. The weather is partly cloudy, and the time, according to Big Ben, is 4:30.
This charter group under World's in-flight care has truly joined the jet set. Take it from some of these passengers who have experienced charter flying. It's one of the real travel breakthroughs of the jet age. There's a big, beautiful world out there just waiting to be discovered. Last year, almost 500,000 people explored it in luxury on World Airways' fleet of charter jets. How about it? Will you be among those who seek adventure abroad this year? It is your world. Where would you like to go?
Hong Kong, Copenhagen,
Disney World,
Athens, Rio,
Okhotsk, Siberia. Da.